Now, Americans now believe that Putin is a better leader on Syria than our president. There's a new poll out. It's not even close. 49% of Americans gave the nod to Putin, only 25% to our president.
49-25.
That's...
Can you think of a time in American history where that would have happened? Can you think of a time when Americans would have said, oh, yeah, Khrushchev was far better than Kennedy on this thing? I agree with him on that. We've come a long way in a pretty short time. It's really chilling. And that doesn't mean that our like Americans like Putin better. It's just that they know that he crushed our president on this issue.
Which world leader was least effective during the Syrian chemical weapons crisis? Another one. Our president got 44%. Putin received 10%.
Wow.
And it's not even just the answer. It's the margin. I mean, these are just... I mean,
huge.
Vladimir Putin is winning polls in this country by 2 and 3-1 margins.
So tell me, why do the polls for the president still, on every front, Americans say 70%, we're on the wrong track. We're on the wrong track.
Mm-hmm. Economy,
on the wrong track.
Climate change,
on the wrong track. Everything.
And yet his approval rating is still pretty high.
I mean, look at the debt ceiling thing. They're arguing now on the debt ceiling. With the debt ceiling, the argument is, I'm not going to negotiate. I'm not going to negotiate. I won't talk about the debt ceiling. Got to pay our bills. Well, that's popular with 17% of the American people. 17%. So why is it,
almost 80% it's unpopular with, and then the other whatever remainder is they don't know, as usual.
For healthcare, you can kind of understand when that was going on because it was closer than it is now. Mm-hmm. And the arguments were all lies. And so you're like, okay, well, people don't understand it. They don't understand. And that was his thing. I haven't said that. When he was asked, why are the polls upside down for you? Well, I haven't explained it enough. And you can kind of understand when it's kind of close, maybe, the propaganda and the spin. But these numbers aren't even close. Who won with the weapons deal? 10% of Americans say our president did. Who's right on the debt ceiling? 17% say our president is. So how come that doesn't translate in his overall approval?
There is a new poll out today from Reuters that, if you want to be optimistic, does show a little movement here. Approval for our president at 39%. 55% disapprove, which is
That's
the lowest I've ever seen it.
What kind of poll is that?
Reuters.
Oh, wow.
So
39?
Yeah. Now, that includes 22% of Democrats disapproving. 88% of Republicans and 69% of independents.
He better hope that this fundamental transformation is truly done, and I believe it is. But he better hope that that's done, because when people really start to feel the effects of universal health care, anybody who stood for it, Republicans, you guys that stood for it, you didn't fight. Ted Cruz is the smartest man in America, because Ted Cruz stood up and said, this is wrong. Ted is the one who's just made the most important mark of anyone who it all wants to lead in the next 10 years. Because he's the only one. He has been so smeared because he made that stand. Well, everybody knows he was against it. There's no better place to be. Today it might cost you. Tomorrow it's not going to cost you. Because as you start getting your hours cut, as you start losing your health care, as you lose the doctor that everybody else said you could keep, as you see your health care going down the drain, and those in Washington not having a problem with it, who's the one politician that's going to come to mind who can honestly say, look, I sympathize with you, but I told you, now if you want to roll up your sleeves and stand by me, we're going to fix this damn thing. Which one? There's only one. There's only one now. It's Ted Cruz.
Mm-hmm.
And it is really, honestly, risk big, win big, risk big, lose big. Just know the odds when you throw your dice down the table. The president's now saying, and along all of his cohorts over at MSNBC, is the president, is everybody just so afraid to have this because, It's just going to be so great, and everybody's going to love it so much that it's going to make the president so popular. No, the exact opposite is true. The exact opposite is true. And that's why they want the Republicans in on this thing so bad. They have to have the progressives in on this. So the Republicans, if the Republicans were actually thinking strategically, they would all of them stand in line. Let them take it. Let the Democrats own it 100%.
Yeah.
But what you've done, and this is the progressive way, they've muddied the field. So everybody has their fingerprints all over it. So there's no clear winner. Let there be a clear winner. And there is one. It's Ted Cruz. In time, Ted Cruz will be the clear winner on this case.